So well, as you can see, I tore the front end out of the Jeep. So it was kind of spurred by the road noise in this thing. So I completely tore this Jeep, down to a shell. Every nut, bolt, and screw in the whole thing was turned, and it over a long 3 or 4 years of just tinkering with it in my spare time. And the before and after in terms of the road noise in the cab in here is just extreme. If this thing was like any other stock or close to stock Cherokee, it was quiet and comfortable, and it wasn't bad at all. So the insulation under the floor is fiberglass from the factory, and since we had the whole interior out of this thing, that stuff holds water bad, and it rots the floor pans out. So we replaced it with this. You probably can't really see it, but it's this foam type of stuff, closed cell foam with foil on either side of it. And there's like, I don't know, 3 layers of it underneath there. I figured it'd be better that it, have something in there that doesn't hold water like the factory stuff. Well, here it is, right here. It's on the ceiling. And then you see this Dynamat. It's not Dynamat, but it's a knockoff of it. This stuff is everywhere in here. The pillars, the inside of the outer door skins, inside the doors. So I was trying to improve the sound deadening in here from factory, and it just ended up going completely the other way. It's just irritating to the point where I don't take it on long trips, which that's why I have this thing, so I can go camping, fishing, and stuff like that if I want to. It's got to be able to run the roads and be, somewhat comfortable. And it's just like you get up to speed and you're just like yelling at everybody inside the Jeep, and it gets old. You wind up just not talking to anybody and just turning the radio up because it just gets fatiguing. So, and I was trying to take videos of the Jeep, at least get one inside the cab and go drive it around, but even then, the way these cameras are now, they're just picking up everything. So the road noise, it's just the interference on the camera, on the video is just terrible. It's just a shitty video. So, and that's kind of what sort of spurred pulling the front end out of it, because the control arms that I used were the Iron Man 4x4 fab. I bought these, I don't know, it was like 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. These are just half of the uppers. They're, for a short arm, they're a badass arm. They're solid bar, but they came with urethane bushings. And that's what I wanted to change back to rubber, because I'm betting that that's at least a minor, if not major, contributor to why it's so loud now, where it wasn't before. Because when I first put this thing together, it had very little lift at all, 1.5 inches maybe, and it had those arms. I bought those arms way ahead of time because I knew I'd be lifting it more down the road, and they're like infinitely adjustable. So so the control arm angle was roughly the same as it was stock, and because I keep having people telling me that oh, it's it's your angle, it's all goofed up, so it's gonna contribute to road noise, and it does, it will, but the difference between, I mean, now it has 35s and the control arm angle is way goofy, obviously. And it's really not any different than when I first put it together with 31s, and the control arm's almost parallel with the ground. Right, so I'm really hoping that it's these stupid bushings are the reason I'm having so much of this noise. They were just hammered to shit too, like they were all cracked and ripped, and I just think that they're a poor choice for a bushing for an off-road vehicle. They not only restrict your suspension articulation, and they're putting a bunch of stress on all your brackets, and yeah, the rubber ones you're probably gonna have to replace them more often, but at least, I don't know, in this application they were not a good choice at all. There's too much, the control arms are doing too much swinging around because they're traveling such a short arc that they didn't hold up, and I didn't like them at all. You could drive this thing around without the sway bar on and you couldn't even hardly tell. The bushings were so damn stiff. So they cut the ends off of all the arms. I don't have them with me at the moment. They're over at my shop because I had to use a press to press in the new bushings, but I just bought the rings to go on the ends of the arms, cut the ends of them off, and welded the rings to convert those back to rubber, and then these, I got the rubber ones back reinstalled in them. I had to box the front of this because the other side of it broke and I almost ripped it off. Then the lower control arm brackets, this one was just about ripped right off. It was pretzeled right up. That one you can see is all foo-barred on the bottom. So I got the Artec, which is, I mean, these are badass bracket. These things are awesome. They're worth every penny. They just index themselves right into place. There's a little tab that locates them. Those things are neat. So once I can get that squared away, she'll be all back to rubber, and the alignment will be good again, because this arm was really bad. It was throwing my way off. That was the track bar. It was a Rusty's whatever, something or other. The stupid tie rod on still on the other side. It's been replaced like 3 times. I hated that, obviously, for obvious reasons. For actual, you know, four-wheeling, you want to get rid of that stupid tie rod end. So that one over there is the one going on. It's the rough country one that's adjustable after it's installed, which is neat. It's got rubber at both ends. So there's the new bracket for it, and I got drop pitman arm going in it. I'm going to leave these shocks for now. They're the Skyjacker monotubes M95s. Those have been really good shocks, actually. I've tried like 6 or 7 different sets of shocks on this Jeep, and I like these. This thing was a bitch to get on because it has the unibody stiffener kit that welds to the outside of it, and then there's 2 more pieces that go along the flat part of the frame there that wrap around the bottom, and then 2 more where it arcs back up to go over the rear axle. So it was a 6-piece kit. So this thing didn't want to stretch over that. It was not fun to get it tightened down. It's definitely under some tension, but you can see there's a weld right here. This up here is all 3/8 plate. That there's pieces on the bottom too. Let me get a better view of it over here. So they were welded right there, it's all 3/8 plate, and like I said, it goes up and it serves as the front bumper mount. And then on the inside of the frame rail, there's another uh, 2 bolts. So there's 4 bolts at each frame end. And I relocated the sway bar mount. Probably because I broke the bolts off in the frame or something. And it's the same in the back. There's 3/8 plate that goes on the inside of the frame rail all the way to the back, because the rear bumper is pretty much built the same. We're going to put taller coils in it, because these are like maxed out, these decibel spacers. There was only V8 grand coils on it, so I figured get a longer coil in this thing and get those back up and seated and just use them to level the Jeep. I had, you know, these things come with a new bump stop. I had hockey pucks drilled holes in the coil mounts, and I had hockey pucks stacked up as my bump stops, which worked, I guess. The problem with this, having your bump stop inside the coil, is it kind of limits you on where you can move your axle. Like, it's the whole idea of adjustable arms is you can move your axle around, but if you want that bump stop to swing up just right and tag your original post, then you're kind of limited. So I want to get the bump stops out of in there and put hydraulics or stingers like back here on the frame that go right along the back side of the shock, and, you know, just build a pad off the back of those for the new stops, and even get it out of inside the coil. There's a drop pitman arm. I probably already said that. I mean, it needs long arm, obviously, to correct all this nonsense, and it may be what I end up having to do in order to get all the noise and shit out of the cab. But I'm hoping this will work for now, because I blew the Jeep fund on putting that in it, so I don't have the money set aside for long arms right now quite yet. But the motor, we had to drop the oil pan. When it was really cold out, you go out and start the thing, and it had no oil pressure at all until you revved it up a little bit, and then it would prime, and then the engine would quiet down. So we pulled that off and replaced the oil pickup tube O-ring and put one of those ICT billet, those little clamps that pick up both bolt holes instead of just one like GM did. And seemed to have fixed the problem. Put the oil pan back on, started the thing up, and it primed up and went right straight to 55 psi oil pressure. It's never had more than 40 since I've installed it in this Jeep, so hopefully we fixed that problem. It's kind of just a test mule engine. I mean, it's got like 180,000 miles on it or something, I think. We just wanted to get one in here and get it going, get it running. Didn't really care if it had some piston slap or lifter tick or something to it, you know. And then we can put another one on a stand back there and build one, actually, because a lot of these 5.3s I have, they're all Gen 3, so, you know, you don't want to gamble with throwing one in and then it have piston slap again. It doesn't hurt them, it just gets annoying to listen to after a while. So I just want to correct them, at least throw a hone in them and put real super slight oversized pistons in them or something to correct the clickety clackety that they do when they're cold. Once they warm up, they're fine. So I think that about covers it. Main thing is here is I want to go back to rubber so I can hopefully take a video of it being drove. Other than that, the engine runs fine. I think that about covers it. I will report back with my findings on this experiment to see if it actually helps or not. For those of you who actually care about your Jeep being comfortable, I know a lot of people don't, but they just use it as a toy. I have toys. I have dedicated off-road vehicles out back. I didn't really want that for this Jeep. I want a kind of a sort of a expedition vehicle of sorts. So hopefully this at least helps. So yeah, thanks for watching.